done with us now? It's been quite a number now.
I don't know. I've lost track, Jeff. I can't even believe it's almost 2026. So
Wow.
I'm just, in
Yeah,
fact, Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks from tomorrow. 2 weeks from tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Can you believe it?
I can believe. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can't wait. Actually, I can see your screen. I'm
Wonderful.
going to get out of the way. It's your turn.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Jeff. Yes, I've been discussing charts and gaps for quite a number of years with Jeff, and again, he always does a nice introduction. Today we're going to talk specifically about what I do, which is I trade gaps for a living. I do day trades and I do options. And if you have any questions, you can plop it in the chat. I think I can see everybody's chat. And again, we're going to get started here right now. So if you have questions, you can email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. You can follow me on X, Facebook, YouTube, or Pinterest. Again, it's been a very interesting year, very interesting last, I'd say, 4, 5, 6 weeks in the market. A lot of things going on. But if you're somebody that has the market bug, you've been trading for a long time, you haven't really quite gotten to where you want to go with it, but you keep trading, coming back to it, trading, coming back to it. Maybe you're not doing it as your full-time career yet, like me. But I always say when people have the market bug, they're bit. That's it. They've got it. You've got to figure out a way to make it happen for yourself so you can become successful if you're not there yet. Don't think that quitting is going to stop the market bug if you've been bit. Because trust me when I say, I've been teaching people, I've been trading for a long time now. I have people that come to me, they're interested, then they leave, they come back. They want to do it. Just I'd say jump into it. If you really know that you want to do this, then be committed to it, because the sooner you're committed to doing it, guess what? The sooner you're going to be successful. So don't give up. I always tell people don't give up if this is your dream. Because if the market bug has you, then you really want to trade, you really want to make money trading, and you have to find a way to become successful, okay? And the fact is that you can make money trading the US stock market. You could live anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in the United States. I happen to live in New York. I live in Manhattan, but you can live anywhere. So the market hours are between 9:30 and 4, and I focus specifically on the morning. So we're trading usually between 9:30 and 10, maybe 10:15, 10:30. So if you've got that first half an hour, first hour of the day available, you'd be able to trade my system. But like I said, the question is, how can you become successful? How can you make money? Because a lot of people are out there attempting to trade and they don't know where to go, what to do. Now, we had a very bullish spring and summer in the market. So if you went long from pretty much the tariff reprieve at the beginning of April up until I'd say about July, August or so, you could have gone long a lot of stocks. You could have bought dips. You could have bought a lot of things, and you could have made money without even knowing what to do. But those types of environments don't last long. We're already out of that environment right now, immediately, even in the last few days. And I think it's becoming increasingly difficult for people that did a certain thing for months and months and months because of the market was so bullish to now trade. They're buying stocks, it's not working, they're not following through, or they're doing calls and options. And so what I developed when I first started trading in 2008 was a strategy that I actually focus on shorting. I will go long, but I do focus on shorting, and it's something where I can do it in any market environment. So like, let's just say the market would sell off. Say we have a sell off between now and the end of the year. I can make money shorting. What if the market goes up, makes brand new all-time highs again, which it did a couple weeks ago? I can make money shorting. So again, I have a system that I developed and use that I can trade in any market, bullish or bearish. It is true though that it is extremely difficult to short or to go long in a bearish market. And so again, it's different if the market's strong, okay, to go long. But again, if the market falls, okay, and you've got the market against you, very difficult to go long or have any follow through, okay? So it's your best bet to be successful to do this long term is to find a strategy and a focus and a system that works on any market conditions, okay? Whether the market's with you, whether it's against you or not, okay? And so I developed a system specifically focusing on shorts because short moves, selling moves, moves to the downside happen faster and bigger than moves to the upside. Again, longs take longer. So I typically like to focus on shorts just because I want to do the fast day trades. And again, I'm doing puts, okay, which is an option too. But either way, I'm using the exact same system when I trade whether I'm doing options or day trades. Now, here was a nice trade that we did recently. This was Oracle. I'm going to show you the chart here in a minute. This was a put. So we bought the 265 puts. Again, this was a trade that we did that expired last week. Did it on the day before Halloween. Cost was $7, sold at 24, was a really nice trade. Profit was 243% return on investment. This is an advanced trader risk. You could do one contract. You don't have to do as much size as me. You could do more. You could do one, you could do two, okay? But here was the chart. Again, I called this trade on the 30th. So stock closed here, gap down, and again, we did the 265 puts. See where it dropped. Boom. Boom. In fact, you could have even held this longer than I held it. I typically do not always hold a trade into the very, very last day, but I just want to show you, here was the Oracle, okay? And it went down. Again, when you're doing a put is a short, and it fell $25 through the strike in the time that I called it, in the week that I called it. And again, I called this at 9:44 in the morning, so it was in the morning, okay? Sometimes I call trades in the before the open, but this was one that I called, again, right after the open. So you would have bought the put. Actually, you could have bought the put and got out the day I called it. But you could have bought the put, waited for the drop, boom. Got in, got out. So I'm trading momentum. In this case here, again, Oracle, the momentum's what? To the downside. It's selling momentum. So again, to be able to make that kind of money, and again, you could have risked money and made over 200% in one contract or 5 contracts or half the size that I did. But the idea is that trading is fun when you make money and when you're feeling confident in a specific strategy, when you're feeling confident in your trades. Again, it's easy for people to say, well, I'm up, I'm green. When the trade wiggles and jiggles or it goes against you before it goes green, that's when people tend to lose their confidence. They make mistakes, they kill the trade, they take a loss, and the trade goes on to work, and so on and so forth. You have to be able to take a trade, feel confident it's going to work, put the risk on, whether it's small, big, or medium, and then let the trade play out to its natural conclusion. Okay, you set your risk, you decide how much you're risking per trade. But feeling confident in a strategy makes a huge difference in your ability to be able to make money. And I found a lot of people really lack confidence in their trading. They lack confidence in their abilities, or they don't even have a strategy at all, okay, which is also problematic. So unlock the keys to your success with one strategy. And for me, like I said, I'm trading gaps. So again, what is a gap? A gap is actually the difference between the close and the open. So almost everything gaps every single day. But you totally can unlock the keys to your own personal profit potential in the market just by trading. Again, whether you do options or day trades or both. You need a margin account to do day trades where we're shorting the stock on shares, which I will go over some of those trades here in a minute. But again, if you're someone that is interested in what I'm saying, if anything today makes sense, you can learn how to trade gaps. Gaps have big moves. You can get 100%, 200%, 300% moves trading gaps. And as far as I'm concerned, again, as long as I've been trading, it's almost 18 years now, gap trading is where the real money comes from. The real money, the moves, the momentum of the market. And again, you get gaps in the overall market, and the QQQs are the SPY. And again, you have bullish gaps and bearish gaps, which we'll talk about both. But trading gaps makes it possible to trade for a living because you get the big moves. Because everybody has some trades that don't work. So sometimes I take trades that lose, but I have more winners than losers. But because I have some big winners and more winners than losers, they cover the losers. And that's how you're able to move ahead and actually make a career of this if in fact you want to do it. Now let's just talk about the basics here about what is a gap. So this is the market, it's QQQs. So a gap is the difference between the close and the open. So at 4 o'clock the market closes, and then at 9:30 the market opens. So we had a gap in the market from November 3rd to November 4th. A gap down, okay? So again, we closed at one price and we opened at a lower price. This was Monday to Tuesday. Again, this was a week ago. Now you also have bullish gaps. I'm going to go back here. This was Friday to Monday where you had a close and then an open that was higher than the close. Okay, so this is a bullish gap. Again, this was last Friday, Monday, then we gapped up, rally. Okay, so this is a gap down. This is a gap up. Okay, so I played both, but like I was telling you, I prefer to short. But again, the principal point I'm trying to make is that one quality strategy is really all you need. One quality strategy is all you need to pay yourself on a regular basis. Doing all over the place, being a jack of all trades, that's not going to get you where you want to be to make the real money to do this. Knowing one good strategy you can replicate over and over for profits can actually change your whole trading world. Having one powerful strategy that pays you will open up your eyes to the true profit potential for the market, and the market can offer you a real lifelong career if you have a strategy that makes money consistently. Professional gaps are a high income paying strategy. And again, it's the idea of getting the big move, like I was just showing you with the Oracle, where something drops 25 points, even in a week, even for a stock like Oracle. That is a very big move. Okay. So let's talk more about gaps. What is a professional gap? A professional gap is a gap that moves in the direction of the gap. Okay, so when I'm looking for a gap down, I'm looking to short. When I'm looking for a gap up, I'm looking to go long. Now, can you go long every gap up? No. Can you short every gap down? No. So I developed a rating system to qualify the gap to determine if, in fact, it is going to follow through. If it doesn't, per my rating system, I don't do it at all. In other words, I don't flip it. Okay, but I'm trying to find ones that will go. And again, the market did, and so did Oracle. Anyways, it's called a professional gap because professional traders and investors are making and creating the gap. And again, I'm only trading stocks that have volume. I'm not trading penny stocks or low float stocks. In the case of a bullish gap, professionals are buying the stock. Therefore, the stock moves higher in the trading day. Okay. In the case of a bearish gap, professionals are shorting the stock. Therefore, the stock moves lower in the day. And again, I prefer to short just because stocks fall so much quicker than they rally. But I name my gap rating system the golden gap because finding gaps that rate per my system is like finding gold in the market. So I developed a 26-point rating system. I'm not looking for a perfect score. I'm looking for 20 points or more. Okay. If I get 20 points or more, I feel a high level of confidence that the stock will go and fall and drop like Oracle. And therefore, I take a trade in it. Again, whether I do a day trade or a put, it's up to you. Or if you follow me, you do what I do. But that's what I'm looking for. So golden gaps are professional gaps. They are the gaps that have the high odds of working on the day in the correct direction of the gap with a large momentum move. And that's, again, where you're making money, whether you're doing a small size or a big size. Okay? Any questions here so far? Everybody doing okay? So the whole point is to take a trade that you feel is going to work. You don't take trades with a 50-50 crapshoot. That's just like a waste of money, okay? So the golden gap is about high probability. Anything you can put the odds in your favor to trade will give you an edge. And the 26-point golden gap rating system gives you an edge. It reads the price of the gap and using technical analysis on an advanced level, pinpoints which stock to trade that day and in what direction. The high probability is the quality and detail in the rating system. Now, I always get this question, how long does it take to figure it out? 26 points is a lot. Yes, that's true. But that's where I'm getting the idea where it's putting the odds in my favor. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to rate one gap, and it could be less than 5 minutes if you're experienced and you've been doing this for a long time like me. So let's look at another one here. We did this Oracle. It was the 270s. So on 10/21, again, expiration 10/31, we shorted it. Again, bought the put, cost $7, sold it at $13, 86% return on investment. Let's take a look at the chart, 10/21. Oh shoot, we don't have 10/21 here. I don't know why we don't have 10/21, but 10/21, the stock was way up here. I don't know what happened here, we don't have 10/21. But 10/21 Oracle, well, you can see where it did drop in here on the 30th. But on 10/21, if you want to pull up your own chart, you can see there was a gap on 10/21 in the Oracle. And again, when I'm doing something, I'm always shorting a gap down, going long a bullish gap. So I don't have 10/21 for some reason on this chart, but if you want to pull up your own chart, you can see that Oracle had a gap down on this particular day. Okay, so again, it's the idea of getting the move, which this had, and the follow through. So again, you see where this went. It went more than $10 through the strike because we were in the 270s, and that dropped and broke 260 on October 30th. Okay. So who makes gaps? Large institutional money, big traders, professional traders. Again, hedge funds. They take positions in stocks. They buy and they sell. Gaps are created with large institutional money, and that's what makes a gap in the first place. So professional gaps that happen and play out in stocks are formed by one thing and one thing only, large institutional money. Therefore, you need a way that will help you pick the correct direction to play the gap, and then confirm that the large money will flow with it. By having a formula to rate and qualify the gap, you will get confirmation and conviction that the large institutional money is on your side, and then you play it. Gaps are an event, and they create a sense of urgency, like hurry, 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 buy this or sell it, whatever's going on in the stock. Could be news, could be earnings, could be lots of reasons why something could be moving up or down. But it's the idea that an action is being forced by participants of the stock, and this is why gap trading is incredibly powerful. Trading gaps is a powerful and profitable way to trade because you're trading on the side of power money. And again, that's where you're going to get the move to be able to take the trade and profit. So here was another one we did. This was another put. It was TXN. This was pretty cheap. Cost was $1.50, sold at $2.70. Profit was 83% return investment. We did this 10.22 and got out 10.31. I don't have 10.22 in this either. Sorry about that. Anyways, here was the drop in the TXN. You see here now we did this, got the drop through here, came down in here, broke 158. And again, we did the 160s. So you see here how this came down through the strike. Again, it was another short. Here you can really see the day this sold off here on the 29th. Actually could have entered a new trade here on the 29th. I'm just seeing that. You could have actually done a new trade here at a higher strike, actually, if you wanted to take it down here. Someone's asking a question. How did I arrive at 1997? I don't know what you mean by 1997. Was that question for me? I didn't understand that. How did I arrive at 1997 retail cost? Are you talking to me, Roy? What 1997 are you talking about? You lost me. Roy, was that question for me? Because I don't know what chart you're talking about or what you're talking about. Roy, if you can write that explanation. Okay, here we go. The next thing, yeah, and we'll just pull up your chart, and you can look at any of these ones. I'm just showing here the last 2 weeks. We got the last 2 weeks on these charts. But if you find the date that I'm showing here that I called the trade, you'll see there was a gap. You'll see there was a gap there. And again, you can see here on these how these fell into the end of October and went in the money. They were in the money. Do you know what I mean? So again, when you're taking an option, you have a fixed time frame. You've got to get the momentum, okay? And it has to go within the time before it expires, preferably, sooner than later. Okay. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Let me know. Getting back to my point was, though, you learn how to do it, and then you do it. And, I just had a class, last month's class. The person's already in trading. They, have a lot of questions. One of the guys that was in the class, another girl that was in the class has never traded before. Another person, 50-50s, traded a little bit, but really not familiar with options. So everybody has a different story. Every time I'm teaching people, I have a different group. Some people are experienced, some people are not experienced. You can follow me even if you are not experienced. I don't think I'm hard to follow because I'm usually doing one trade a day. And we're always really doing, mostly to the short side. So again, even people that have been trading with me for a long time, or they've been trading a long time, they come to do the class, they don't know what I know about gaps. So again, maybe have a shorter learning curve than somebody that's brand new. But I do my best to explain things to people so they understand it. Everybody's got a different story. Everyone has a different experience with trading. I've taught people, like I said, that are brand new that never traded before. I've taught people that have and haven't had success. I've taught people that are trading, making money, but they don't have a good system or not as good as mine. So everybody has a different place where they're coming from. And, it's not like anybody's just born and then all of a sudden they start making money trading. No one does that. Okay. And when I started trading, I ended up teaching myself the system that I created, which took me 3 years. So it's a lot easier for you to come and learn it from me than to develop your own system, which can take years and years and a long time and a lot of money, and there's no guarantees you're ever going to figure anything out. So by following me in the live room and taking the trades, it shortens the learning curve for you, where you can see it more and you can make money as you're going, as you're learning. But the learning part of it is really important, because if you understand what to do, you will trade better, you will make more money, you will be less stressed. Okay? Any other questions? The chat isn't working properly. There's not a place to type in your message. I don't know, Jeff, if you saw that.
Yeah, I'm typing that with GoToWebinar. I actually was typing an answer, but with GoToWebinar, when groups are this size, they don't allow for open chat. It all goes through questions. So if you have a question, or if you want to make a comment, do it in the questions box for GoToWebinar.
Okay, thank you. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, don't make it harder than it is. Because if you make it harder than it is to trade, it inevitably will be hard for you. It'll be hard, it'll be frustrating. First of all, there's no getting away from the fact that you're risking money. You can't make money unless you're willing to take risks. Period, end of story. But you want to be as less stressed as possible. So you're like, okay, well, how can I be less stressed, Melissa? Have a system, have a pick every day, have a specific thing that you're looking for when you're trading, and focus on that one system and don't do anything else. Again, I only trade and focus in the morning. I'm not trading all day long. So right there, I've locked it down to a certain time frame I'm looking for. I'm also looking for certain criteria. And if I don't get that criteria, guess what? I don't do any trades that day. I will tell you that we didn't do any trades today. There was no gaps today that met my criteria. I thought the market gap up would fail. It did. We fell in the morning. I don't know where we are right now, but we didn't do any trades today. Again, I didn't even rate anything today. That's how bad the picks were today. Now, there are earnings tonight. There are earnings tomorrow morning. We are going to get something tomorrow, because there's too many things out tonight and tomorrow morning and some will affect the market. But today we didn't do anything. So again, don't make it harder than it is. You're not going to get away from the difficulty of taking risk, but make it fun to take the risk, because you're like, okay, well, if I risk this $1,000, I can make $5,000. Well, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in every single stock that's out there, every single day, all the time, or even every gap. You have to have a specific reason why you're taking the trade and why you want to do it. If that makes sense. So anyways, trading as a career really is a fun job then, once you get it down pat, because you can make thousands of dollars in less than an hour, and that's a great job. And there's no other job that you can really do that in. So you need to see results. You want to see what counts. And I was talking about that, and specifically because, again, if you're following me in the room, you can mimic my trades. Whether you want to take a small size or a big size, or how much size you're going to take, is up to you, and should depend on the size of your cash in your account. But again, I'm using golden gaps for day trades and for options trades. And the idea is to see real income, real money when you're doing the trades. Now, this was a big trade. This was Friday. Now, you're saying, well, this was the market. Yes, this was a day trade. You could have done a put. We were already in puts. But I want to show you, this is Friday's trade. So market close here, gap down. This was the 6th and the 7th, and we fell off a cliff. Target was 600, actually broke 600. It was a beautiful, beautiful short. This was, again, less than a week ago, if you think about it. Today's only Wednesday. It's 4 days ago. Shorted the market at 607.05, exited the market at 599.25. I think we went down to 598 and change. It was ridiculous. So you could have made $21,840 in this trade. This is a margin trade. Now, again, if you don't have a margin account, you could have bought a put. Could have bought a put that expired, actually, the 7th. They have daily expirations in the market. We were already in puts. We were in puts, actually, going into Friday. But a put is cheaper than a margin trade. I do both. Okay, but it depends. If you don't have an account to do margin trades, you can do puts. And you could have done a daily expiration put as a day trade on that queue. Again, that's not what I did, for the day trade here, but I'm showing you what I did. But if you have a margin account, you could have done this trade. You could have taken less size, okay? But this is a day trade, okay? So getting back to what I was saying, making money fast is fun. It's definitely what I think is extremely important in reference to the short side. Fast is good. You take the trade, get the move, get out. Take the trade, get the move, get out. And again, I'm focusing on the morning. But again, to give you some perspective on the money you can make in the market, it was a great example. And I could give you 1,000 examples. I could be here and talk for the next 12 hours and give you a million other examples of things we did this week, last week, and in the last month. It's the idea, though, that we're doing the replication where we're getting up every morning and I'm processing through, going through making a watch list, rating the gaps, determining if there is any that rate per my system or if there isn't, and then if I'm going to do any trades in anything or how many I'm going to do, okay? But it's just like, you know, so many people are all over the place and they want to do this and they want to be successful, but they're really not throwing themselves into it enough. If you don't take trading seriously enough, you're not going to be successful. If you do take it serious and you really want to be successful, it's very empowering. Stop giving your power away to the market, feeling like someone's stealing your money, or people say, oh, the market's rigged, or it's rigged against me. No. A lot of times people are taking trades they have no business taking, and there's no strategy behind them whatsoever at all, or they don't understand, and they're following people blindly. No one in the room is following me blindly. Everyone in my trading room has taken my class. It's a prerequisite to actually be in the room and take my trades, because I want everyone to understand what they're doing when they're risking their money, okay? Because I'm not taking the trade for you. You're taking the trade. So like I said, I developed a system. It's called the Golden Gap 26-point rating system. It looks at a 26-point checklist to trade. And the purpose of this is to find a stock that has a high odds of working on the day. So I'm looking at, number one, a high probability of directional bias for the entire day, hopefully, okay? Oracle is a good example of that. And number two, big move on the day. Really want a big move. That's how, it doesn't matter if you have a small size or a big size. 3, early confirmation of my bias in the move between 9:30 and 10. Again, got to get that morning period. And precise entries with follow through and a good risk to reward. So again, I'm trading on the 1 minute. So I'm trading on the 1 minute, I'm entering the 1 minute, I'm exiting the 1 minute, but I'm looking at the point system on the daily. When I'm trading options, same thing. I might be getting an option trade very early, but I'm holding my options longer. So I'm not getting an options trade and getting out in 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes. I'm getting an options trade, I'm holding it throughout the whole day or maybe for a couple of days. Again, I'm getting momentum. It's the same thing with momentum, but holding options overnight sometimes can be extremely profitable because you can get a bigger move. I don't use anything. Someone's asking how important is scamming your decision to make a position. I'm not using anything other than my 26-point rating system to take the position. If the gap rate's 20 points or more, I'm taking it in the direction of the gap. How you decide to take that trade, if you're doing a day trade or an option, again, is up to you. But I'm looking at it and saying this is going to have momentum. So again, sometimes I'll take a trade on a Monday that expires on a Friday. It may not go till Thursday or the last day. That's obviously I want it to go as soon as possible. But I'm not looking at anything other than the gap, okay? So again, how do you make money trading options? You got to have momentum. Again, whether it goes the same day or the last day, you've got to have the momentum, or it just doesn't make sense even to do the position. Again, people like options because you can open up an options account, a cash account with as little as $2,000. You don't need the $25,000 minimum as margin. But the real benefit of doing options is not the fact that it's cheaper. The benefit of doing options is you can get much, much larger moves with a fixed risk. It's like the insurance, because again, you are only risking $500 or $1,000 or whatever, and if the trade goes against you overnight, that's all you lose. So it's a fixed risk, but you have the benefit of getting a bigger move that could carry through for overnight several days. You follow me? That's really the benefit, quite frankly. That's a good question. Any other questions? Anyways, let's get back to the philosophy behind the Golden Gap system is to analyze a large time frame to make the trend decision on the directional bias for the gap. All large traders of every kind look at large time frames to make decisions, particularly institutional traders, okay? And to make entry decisions and exit decisions based on a small time frame with a 1 minute chart, which has a high degree of focus and accuracy. Again, I teach that in the class. And then using the daily chart to make the decision for the stock pick allows for accuracy in the direction. And then using the 1 minute chart allows for good risk reward trades with accuracy, which obviously I am trying to get. I'm trying to do. But I'm looking for, could be 1 to 2 to 3 payout. If you hold to a target, or maybe even a larger target, you could get, 400, 500% return on investment trades. So we've had some really big trades recently. Again, we've been shorting, the markets fell. And we got that sell-off that happened last week, and we were in it early. And Oracle was another one, and BA was another one we did. These are some of the big trades that we've had, which have had some huge risk reward potential that we've done in the last several days. Again, if you're somebody that doesn't understand how to short, you will learn how to short, and to get comfortable with shorting in my class can be very profitable. If you're going long a day like Thursday last week or Friday last week, you are struggling, you are losing, you are not making money. Okay? Any other questions here? I apologize for the noise. I have a cleaning person here right now. If you hear any noise in the background, hopefully you can't hear that. Let's talk about anyways, get back to what I was saying. The Golden Gap strategy uses a rating system, okay, which pinpoints opportunity for you to enter before the big move happens. So again, I'm getting in pretty early. We get a short, I'm pretty much in it usually at the high of the day. I mean, again, that's aggressive. You could say, well, I figured it out. I went with the system. It rated 20 points or more. You take it. You put the risk on. You got to do it. Again, if you're trying to make a set amount of money, $500 a day, $1,000 a day, whatever that you're trying to make to achieve your own results, you got to risk that amount minimum. So again, risk the amount you want to take and try to turn it over once. And I think that's normal. And again, I'm not scalping. Okay, so I'm not taking like 10,000 shares to like make $1,000. No, that's what I call a scalp. If I'm risking 1,000, I'm trying to make 1,000. Okay, and that's totally reasonable. But once you know how to make money in the market, trust me, you can set your own course. You could take days off if you want to. You could do options. You could do day trades. You could even use my system for swing trades, which I'm not doing right now. It helps you with long-term investments, especially if you have someone that's looking at your retirement account. You can use gaps to determine long-term positions too. You could do it for yourself. And again, whether you do this on the side with a full-time job or you want to do this full-time, it's up to you. It's a very profitable way to make money where you are working for yourself. If you are someone, like I said, that wants to trade and you are very entrepreneurial and you want to work for yourself, it's a great way to do it. The only caveat is this isn't like, oh, you start a job tomorrow and you get paid immediately. No, you got to get good. You got to get good. And that's the whole point of learning it and understanding it and getting good so that, a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, come January 2026, you're where you want to be, where you're making the money you want to be. And if you have a small account, you're going to have to build it up. There's just no way of getting around that. If you start with a small account with $5,000, you're trading options, you got to look to build it to 7, then to 10, then 10 to 12, 12 to 15. And I say chunk it out because that is how you have to look at it. You can't be a pig in every trade, especially if you have a small account. But I won't be a pig if you have a big account either. Any questions here? Okay. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, if you are a certain age in your life where you are not doing as well as you feel you should be financially, there's a lot of people that feel like that. I'd say since COVID, really. Inflation, cost of everything has gone up. If you feel like you're not where you really want to be, maybe you're close to retirement, maybe you're in retirement, maybe you're young and you can't afford to buy a house yet, or you feel in debt. Again, a lot of people are feeling like this with high inflation since COVID for the last 5 years. All right, prices may never go back to where they were in 2019 before COVID. I mean, they were saying inflation went down. Yeah, I guess a little, but I mean, I don't think we ever see 2019, 2018 prices again. So, I mean, depends how you look at it. You have to make more money. Again, interest rates came down slightly this year. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't drop them in December. They may not. They might, but again, interest rates are still high. Even if they drop them a quarter a point, interest rates are still high compared to where they were. No, I did not do the CRWV gap. I did not like that gap. I trade gaps for earnings for lots and lots of reasons. I trade earnings gaps, I trade news gaps, I trade gaps with the market, I trade sector gaps. So there could be lots of reasons for gaps. What else? What's today, the 12th? Yesterday was the 11th. I didn't like that gap. I don't know what it did. I looked at it. I didn't like it. I don't know if it worked. We did NVIDIA yesterday. The trade worked. It was a nice short. That's what we did yesterday. What else? You buy puts. What if you have a large position in a stock? You buy puts. What if you have a large position in stock and you want to sell calls to obtain income, avoid having the shares called away, your system work as scenario? If you have, someone's asking specifically, if that's more a broker question, I would set up 2 separate accounts is what I would do. So you can set it. In fact, sometimes people have 2 separate accounts for options and day trades on margin. So they have an options account that's set up as a cash account, not a margin account. They do options in that account. Then they might have a prop account, could be someplace else, or they might have a margin account, a different account at the same broker as a margin account. So in that case where you have long-term investments, again, I would speak to your broker about that, what would be involved. I would open up a second account, and you could stay at the same broker, you go to a different broker. What else? There's something else I was going to say. Anyways, we were talking about age and places in life. I've been teaching people for a long time, okay? So I've taught people older than me, younger than me, whatever. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what age you are. You're never too old to learn something new. Never. So again, in fact, if you're over the age of 65, you should be keeping your mind more activated. I don't care if you're retired or you're working still. You should be using your brain as much as possible to stay sharp. So again, I think that's important for young people too. But again, it doesn't matter your age. You can always, always, always learn something new. You can always, always learn something new and get to a point where you could change your circumstances. You are not in a set place where you can't change your circumstances unless you're dead. When you're dead, you're dead. Other than that, if you're alive and you're here and you're on this planet, I don't care what your financial position is right now. I don't care at all. You can change it. You can improve it. You can make changes in your life. A lot of times people feel so stuck and they do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. People are doing this right now. People are doing this right now, even with the chop in the market in the last few weeks. And people don't want to get out of the rut that they're in. They don't want to change what they're doing. But you must, okay? If you are losing, you're going to keep losing unless you change what you're doing. Period. End of story. That's it. So again, there's no point in complaining. I get sometimes people are frustrated. They may have taken other classes and lost money, and now they feel down on taking classes. They may have traded the market and lost money, and they feel down about trading. Again, if you're bitten by the market bug, you're probably not going to give up trading. So that's just get to reality with that. And if it's really something you want to do, I'm telling you could do it. I'm telling you could do it. I've taught people. I've had people with me for a long time now, more than 10 years, that are still with me in the room. And just because you've taken and spent money on some class doesn't mean that every class stinks. That's not true. It's absolutely not true. And you know that if you think about it. The reality is that you've got to do something to improve your situation. If you want to improve your situation, there's no way around it. Doing the same thing is not going to fix it, okay? And the sooner you get to the point where you can grasp that reality, the faster you're going to move forward, okay? So we're just talking about all of these things, but another thing is a separate topic related is job security. Today's world is not the same as 25 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. It's one of the reasons why I'm on the fence here about what the Fed's going to do with the rate cuts in December. I don't know. It's going to depend a lot on the unemployment numbers. And of course, we're still in the shutdown. We're still in the government shutdown. That's probably going to affect things too once the numbers hit. But what we think is a secure job today may be gone tomorrow. Then what are you going to do? Look at the world economy and the decisions that lawmakers are making for you. And it seems out of your control. I mean, you can go vote, but right now, look at what's happening. Do you want to create your own future, or do you want someone else to determine it? And this is where it comes where you have to be more independent minded. Then you can rely on yourself. There's just no downside in learning how to trade, even if you love your job now. Because we can be great employees, productive, outgoing, hardworking, and it may not even matter to our boss in the end if our company can't keep you on. If a company has poor management, they might fail, and it has nothing to do with you. Or your industry might fail, it has nothing to do with you. Again, I did mortgages, and then there was the bank collapse. I kept working through it. I didn't lose my job, but it was tough to get loans approved. Definitely didn't make as much money. And things really never went right with that, even after the bailout. Just, banks became very skittish about actually lending. And again, I'm talking like, a long time ago. But right now, like, people are not working because of the shutdown. And what are people doing? Again, you could be a skilled person with a great mind. You could work for yourself in the market, but you got to learn how to do it. So it's worth the effort and energy and time and money is what I'm saying, because it's always a fallback, even if you like what you do. You can create your own job security. You can create your own opportunity by taking it upon yourself to learn how to trade the market and make money, okay? And so that is the benefit, the real benefit also of doing this. So getting back to what I was saying, the more often you make money on a consistent basis, the more confidence you will build in yourself and the more conviction you will have in your own ability to trade well. One of the most valuable things that you learn during the Golden Gap course is to have conviction in the Golden Gap strategy, which helps you trade. Again, no matter how much money you're putting out at risk, this conviction will help you produce positive results. Staying positive might be a challenge for some traders, but it is a requirement for success. And this is a requirement for success for anyone who wants to earn money in the market in any amount. Again, even if it's $100 a day, you got to have the right attitude. You've got to have the attitude that you can do it and that you will figure it out. And that, again, you come take my class, that you're going to learn from me and it's going to work. And it's going to be worth it. If you want to make it big, that's fine. But you have to look at how much cash you have to risk. You can't go hog wild if you have a small account. Again, that's another discussion for another day. But you can certainly build it. You can certainly build it up, okay? So I teach a class once a month. The Golden Gap course teaches a 26-point professional bearish gap rating system. The purpose of this system is to help you evaluate which gap to trade each morning using a checklist. The course teaches a strategy on how to trade gaps. The course teaches a 26-point rating system to find the best stock to trade every day. That's what I'm looking for. And the course also teaches students how to play the stock of the day. The course teaches students chart analysis and technical analysis on an advanced level. Now, we did here, what did we do here? The market on, what day was this? The 27th. Here was a day trade. We do have this day in here. This is the 27th. So again, actually this was a long. We went long on this day. We bought it. We bought the market. Again, you could have done a call, 625.40, exit at 627.35. Here's an example of a long. So again, I don't have the previous day before the 27th, but this was a gap up in the market. We gapped up, we rallied, we got in, got out. So this was 10.27, but I don't have the 26th the day before, but the market had a bullish gap on this day prior to the day before. Then on the 28th, we went long here. Here we are. Here's 27th. Here was NVIDIA, gapped up, rallying. We went long here. Got in, got out. Entry was 193.60. Exit was 195.10. Got out, made 37.50. Again, this was a day trade. You could have bought a call if you didn't want to do the day trade. And then we also did the NVIDIA here, which actually, even though it closed red, we actually made money going long before it dropped. This closed here, gapped up. We got the rally. We got out. 210 was my target. It hit it. Actually went through it before it fell. Got in at 207.90, exited 210.20. Again, you could have done a call here if you didn't want to do the day trade. But we got in, got out, done. And then we fell here into the close on that day, the 29th. And then the next day here was the 30th. And then we gapped down, and we've been wiggly jiggly ever since. Let me see if somebody has another question. Someone's asking, where do you find gaps? You can find gaps. There's thousands and thousands of gaps. To be honest with you, a million places, or almost everything gaps. So it'd be really rare, actually, for something not to gap. Like, again, something could close at 22.02 and open tomorrow at 22.02. That would be a neutral gap or not really a gap at all, but that's rare. So finding gaps is not hard. There's a bazillion. Almost everything gaps. the market, everything. Again, could gap up, could gap down, but it doesn't mean it's a good gap. And what do I mean by a good gap, or what I coined the term a golden gap? It doesn't mean it's predictable, that it's going to go in the direction of the gap or have a big move that you could predict. That's the whole point. It's predicting it, because most stocks in any given day, to be honest with you, actually trade with the market. That's what the market's made up of stocks. So whatever the market's doing right now, if you scanned 1,000 things, most things are probably going with the market. And the market's hard to predict every day. So again, I don't get it right all the time. Sometimes I do, but I don't all the time. I mean, I showed you some market trades, but I don't get the market right all the time. I never thought the market would make 27 million brand new all-time highs this year. We might have set the high for the year, though, I will say that. We might not make any more new highs this year. That's probably likely. Anyways, there's a million places to find gaps. That's not hard. I do my analysis before the open. I know what I'm doing right out of the gate before the open. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot. I don't look at stuff at night, but you could. You could if you live in a different time zone where you like to get organized at night, but I'm an early morning person, so I do it in the morning. That's a good question, too. Any other questions? So again, think about what I'm saying. Empower yourself in your own world to trade, because then you feel like you have a level of control over what you're doing. You may have traded, and you may take a trade and you lose, and you feel that it's out of your control. But let me tell you something. Not even good traders. I'm a good trader. I take some trades that lose. Sometimes I retake it, get the timing off. Sometimes it doesn't work because something happens out of nowhere that you don't expect. Trump tweets or something. You never know. But the reality is, more trades I take work than don't work, because I'm using a system and I'm staying on top of that system. I mean, I'm not changing anything I'm doing, and I'm using that and only that instead of looking at a million other things. Because if you're trying to follow the news or make decisions on fundamentals or make decisions about what the Fed's going to do or Trump's going to tweet, you don't know. Those are all 50-50 crapshoots. I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at the chart and determining it based on the technical analysis that's in the daily chart. I'm using the same system now, like I said, for almost 18 years. So when you have something that you can rely on the chart, the knowledge, the price action, that's where you're going to get the confidence, and that's where you're going to get the conviction. And then anything else that happens, it happens. Whatever happens, happens. Okay? I'm talking. Can everybody hear me? Jeff just said he doesn't hear anything.
No, I can hear you.
Oh.
You sound great to me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't hear the cleaning crew. That was a minute ago.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. He went to a different room now, but it was earlier. There's nothing I could do. I had it scheduled for today. Very good. Okay. So we were talking about what? Trading, changing your life. Okay. Doing something fun, which quite frankly, trading is fun. Making money is fun. Losing is not fun. If you're trading and you're losing, you're probably miserable. So decide not to lose anymore. Just say, I don't want to be miserable anymore. I don't want to lose. I want to win. And I've got to learn how to do it. And I'm telling you that you can do it. Whether you do it for yourself, whether you do it for your family, whether you do it for whatever reasons you have, that you want to do it for a full-time job, you want to quit your job, you want to do it on the side, it doesn't matter, but you should know your reasons. You should know your reasons, and you should have certain goals. And you've got to make the time to start trading. Again, I teach the class on the weekends on Saturdays and Sundays because I'm trading during the week. And, usually people work during the week, but you have to block off the time to do it during the weekend. You've got to make the time. So the class is called the Golden Gap Course. It's a complete system that I use to trade. And again, you'll learn the 26-point rating system, all the entries and exits in the class. So the Golden Gap system is a 26-point professional bearish gap rating system. The purpose of the system is to evaluate which gap to trade each morning using a checklist. His checklist tells you what to trade, when, and in what direction. The 26-point checklist predicts directional bias and a stop. And I'm telling you that one strategy is all you need to be successful. And I'm mostly short in a bearish market and a bullish market, and I've done it since I started trading. You do not need a general overall broad-based view to make money. In fact, it could hurt you because you could be looking at all kinds of things and not really knowing what to do or what to look at, okay? Tons of people have that and fail all the time. Learn how to read institutional money and price patterns and gaps, and you don't need to do anything else. Because if your reason for doing this is to make money, okay, this will make you money. So the last class for 2025, I can't believe it, the year is almost over, is December 13th and 14th. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Last class of the year. If you want to join, class tuition is $6,999. I'm doing a fall special. I took that picture with my phone. It's a gorgeous picture. Right now is beautiful in New York City in Central Park. Of course, we've had some rain the last 24 hours, so I don't know how many leaves are still in the trees, but this was a couple days ago. Beautiful scenery right now in the park. If you sign up by Friday, November 14th, what's today? Wednesday. I'm doing a special. You will get the trading room free for 1 year and the options newsletter free for 1 year. Again, this ends on Friday, and then you'll be joining, and you can get in and start trading with us before the class, which is December 13th and 14th. Someone's saying it's only a crapshoot because you don't know advance, but there's more things. There's more things than Trump. You don't know what the Fed's going to do. You already saw a turnabout. You already saw a turnaround where at first they said 2 months ago they were going to drop rates in December. You already saw a turnabout, whatever that was, 2 weeks ago. I have to look at a calendar now if it was 2 weeks ago, where now they may not drop rates in December. So there's a million things that can happen and that are not predictable. But again, I'm doing a day trade where I'm getting in and out in 5-10 minutes. I'm doing an option where I'm in and out the same day or within a few days. I'm not doing leaps, okay? So I'm trading momentum, which are fast trades. Even the options are fast trades. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm using the daily chart based on technical analysis. Because if you're trying to trade the news, you're not doing very well right now. And in fact, today, I don't know. I don't have the news on. The House is going to vote on the shutdown today. Is it going to pass? Are we going to be through it? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. If it doesn't pass, if the vote doesn't pass today, it probably goes into next week. And then all the air travel, I feel so bad for people that have to travel for the Thanksgiving weekend, or the Thanksgiving week. It's going to be a mess. They need probably a week to get all that organized. People back at work, get stuff organized. So if this doesn't pass today, it's going to be hell in a hand bucket going into next week to get things orderly. Again, I mean, I live in Manhattan, like I said. It's plain. It's just been a nightmare for people that have been traveling out of JFK, Newark Airport, and LaGuardia. It's just been crazy. And maybe they will pass today. Maybe it'll be over today, but maybe it won't be. Nobody knows. You know? Any other questions? How are we doing? So if you're interested,
You're
go ahead.
great.
Oh, thanks. If anybody has questions, you can email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. I'll just type my email in here. What were you going to say, Jeff?
Oh, that's all I had. And I just put your email in the chat so people can get a hold of it. You're welcome.
Listen, if I don't talk to you, Jeff, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Will do. Thank you. Yes, you too.
And happy Thanksgiving, everyone else. And if you have questions, you can email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. Think about what I said today. If you have questions, you can always call me too. And again, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
All right. Thank you very much, Melissa.